Hello, everybody. I decided to make a video today to try and explain something that I noticed on this build that I briefly, I guess, explained to Jake the other day when we were in when we were in group, and I guess it was kind of a serendipity of sorts. I didn't know what it was going to do, and first I'll just try to explain it. Going to open up my character sheet and show everybody that I'm a pure sorcerer here, but I'm a half elf, and along with the half elf, you get a dilettante. I don't know if I'm pronounced dilettante uh, feat, so that you get to pick at your character creation. Well, if I go into feats here, the one that I took was for Warlock, and I'm just going to hover my mouse over it right here. It doesn't look like too much to begin with when you take it, and what it says there is you deal 1d4 extra fire damage with attacks and spells, and then it'll trigger at the most once every 2 seconds. And then it says, the toggle is exclusive with Warlock pack toggles. This feat's not recommended for characters with actual Warlock levels. Alright, so no big deal. Like, I wasn't that thrilled about it, but it was the only feat that did damage for the half-elf feats that was available. So, yeah, I took it. And then, I guess it just sort of compounded from there. I went online and I went on the wiki to see what they had to say about it. And at the bottom of the page on the wiki, there was somebody who wrote in there that they had tested it with 100 fire spell power, and their example of a hit was at 75. Now, that goes a long way from being a 1d4 damage type on it. So it got me thinking. It was like, well, if that scales with spell power, I even went on the forums to try and see if it was scaling with your spell power that you had equipped. And there's nothing on the forums on it. There's only a couple of things for this particular Warlock feat, or dilettante feat, and it was people bitching that they thought that it should be for force damage. So what I'm doing here today is I'm going to try and find out what that power is coming off of it, because right now at level 25, last night in Giant Hold I hit for 800 damage on it, multiple times. Like, that's standard. Or was out there last night. Now I'm standing in front of Thunderholm right now, and we're gonna go in here, and I think these mobs might have a higher save on it, but we'll see what it does. And I wanted to run a test with an actual fire lore item on it. Okay, and then the other thing I wanted to go over is the enhancement trees for half elf. When you take the racial tree, you start raising the Warlock level for the caster. So I know that that's helping the damage out on it already. So mostly I'm trying to see if the fire lore weapon and fire power combustion spell power is gonna raise our visual damage and what's typed in the combat log. Now, if you look at this tree going up, like I'm hovering above the second tier on the racial enhancements for half elf, it says you're now casting as a 6th level Warlock on this tier. And then at the top, you're treated as a 10th level Warlock. Or your total level, whichever is lower. So my total level right now is 25 for Sorcerer, so it's taking it to the 10, I think. Now, I just gacked this thing out over here. And I also took it, burned 1 feat for the Dragon Mark for Half Elf. This was the primary purpose of me doing a Half Elf Sorcerer, was to get these electrical clickies over here. You get a Dragon Mark electric loop, a Dragon Mark uh, Call Lightning Storm, and a Power of the Storm boosted, and I'm electric spec. As you can see, I burned all my points in here. So this was just like, what the heck is going on? When I started casting, I was like, I gotta figure this out, because nobody, like, I didn't even know about this. And it was kind of exciting for me personally, because it didn't look like anything that was that big a deal, but then it started to turn into a huge thing. Made it kind of fun. So anyway, I'm gonna step out here into the ruins of Thunderhome, and we're gonna just run a test. First, I'm gonna try and get a reading on it in our combat log with just my lightning spec weapons on. And you can see I have a resonating and magnetic items only here. My character has nothing else to boost fire spell power. I hope this works. And you might have to, if you're gonna, after I post this video on the
There are fresh footprints in the dust.
Page,
even though Thunderhome lies in ruins, it is far from deserted.
You might have to put it in 3D and enlarge it, and I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of a delay. There always was. Okay, just what else am I going to do? And I'm just drinking up my pots here to see if I can get my spell power up a little. So far, I've been very happy with this build in terms of how fast it can cast. My electrical's only at 435 right now. That's not that big a deal. But here's just with the electrical, when these guys wake up. And you can see on that web spell it just hit. That was it. It already hit. I didn't even cast. Every 2 seconds. Okay, now we're just going to pause here, and we're going to look at the combat log. Okay, this could take a little bit because I got to raise and lower this. I don't want to take the chance for some reason. I'm so afraid to open up another log because I have no idea how to get it back down there and off my screen. Alright, so where are we at here? Right in the beginning, I cast the web, and I didn't cast any spells at all, and it hit this guy. Ooh, there's all my pots that I was drinking. We gotta find it. Oops. These are from shrines. Where the hell am I? I went past it. Okay, right here. You hit Dwarf Skeleton with web. And I'm just hovering over this. Immediately, it goes off for 223 points of fire damage. That was on just a cast that was not offensive. That's not even an offensive spell cast. You hit Dwarf Skeleton for 230 points of fire damage again. Those 2 initial blasts. So it says on the thing it can only go off every 2 seconds, but then I started to cast Electric Loop, and then it hit him again. You hit Dwarf Skeleton for 455 points of fire damage. Now, what is that telling me? We're at 223 to 455 was my highest. And then it didn't trigger again because they were dead. There it is. You hit Dwarf Skeleton for 799 points of fire damage in combat. And it's not... That was on a spell crit for my electric loop. So my electric loop hit a crit, and then it looks like it almost doubled the amount of that fire that was associated with it. I don't know. I mean, it's not saying what it is. And then this is a good example here of what caster level I'm at right now. You begin to cast electric level loop at level 38, and I am in draconic. Boy, this is going to be interesting. Here we go. So my highest hit, if it was a crit, it doesn't say in my combat log, 799 off of a base 1d4 fire damage Warlock Pact. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some time and scroll my log down here, and then I'm going to flip over to using an electrical boosting item and a fire combustion boosting item, and that's this set of weapons. That is a fire lore 17, and my combustion goes to 112. Okay, on my character sheet now with that equipped, I'm looking at a fire damage spell power of 311 and a 27% chance to crit on it, but it doesn't look like in the combat log it's going to tell me if that specific effect has its own crit ability. So let's just go. There's a couple dead skellies still there. I don't really get that too much. If it's a dead skeleton and it's still a skeleton when it's laying there, these ones just aren't animated. So open the door, get hit by a bunch of traps, probably get run over by, might get run over by a one of those skeletal warriors. They like to charge you and knock you down. So we're going to head around the corner with these weapons on. There's probably going to be some mobs in here. I will lay down a web to try and slow down the combat log. Okay, and I got 2 of them. Shock the first. Going slow to get that 2%. Just using my electric loop clicky down here. And checking the combat log. It didn't look like it was hitting for as high as 799, did it? So what does it mean though? It means that you could effectively make a bard that was Sonic Spect and still be doing extra damage like this. It's nothing to sneeze at, I don't think. We'll go back through the combat log of what just happened with the new weapons on and try to determine if that fire spell power is working on it or not. Okay. Again, you begin to cast electric loop. Nope, that was just right before it. Where's my webs that I laid down? I laid down a web first. That's how you know it's going to start. I think it's right here. You hit dwarf skeleton with web. You're immune to skeletal sharpshooter's unholy attack. Huh. That's nice. I did get shot though right there, and then I got missed a bunch. Maybe that's not it. I don't know. Because we saw one blast. I thought I saw one thing right away that went off and it showed the fire damage right under it. Boy, it's tough to tell. Here's the thing. You hit skeletal sharpshooter with electric loop. So you nailed it for 565 points electric damage. That's the loop. And then this one here says your electric loop has greater effect. You hit Skeletal Sharpshooter for 865 points of fire damage. So I don't know, that's around that 799 mark. I only boosted my fire damage up by 100 or so with, what was it, 111 on that? So, yeah, I don't know. Here's another thing that's going off down here in that exchange for 464. Boy, that's just tough to tell. It looks like, though, it is. It looks like it is doing a crit when I crit on my electrical, though. Damn it. I wish that was just a little bit more clear on there. Or maybe later on when I get a 185 fire item, I'll post the same video and try to determine if it's right or not. Anyway, I'll just go over here and nuke some more stuff and end the video. I hope it opens up maybe some new build ideas, because you could do something there with like a druid caster or a sork that was spec different, or even maybe cleric or something else and get clickies. But it was just kind of amazing to me that I managed to learn something every day. Well, every couple of months I find something new. Yeah. Fry that guy, huh? Anyway, I want to use my clicky here and see if I can breathe something and fight my dragon breath into somebody's face here. And that's it for me. Thank you guys.